I tell you, it is getting cold now. My God. Yeah, it's a bit of a frosty one. Literally, I don't know why I keep taking them down here. It is literally busier than a motorway. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration. Anyway, I had a conversation yesterday. Young lad, you know, we got chatting. He's potentially interested in coaching. And these conversations, they constantly remind me about why I do what I do, and they're really powerful, you know, because I get to chat to people, you know, learn different perspectives, and understand really like how people think, you know. Anyway, we go into the conversation. Come on, you two. And he said something that really kind of like struck me. And he said, right now, because he told me that his training kind of, it's not really been, he's kind of been going through the motions a little bit with his training. And so I asked him why over the past couple of months has this been the case. And he said to me that all he really cares about right now is just making more money. And it really like hit me, because it made me reflect on some of the more deeper reasons as to why I started Pursue Performance. You know, when I started this business, I suppose what I thought was the biggest reasons behind why I was doing this and what I gave people was that it made people stronger, you know, and obviously all the benefits that come with that, but also at the same time develop people's technique. And although those two things are a massive part behind why we do what we do and the things that we give people, they are, you know, it's a big part behind the why of this business. In my opinion, the biggest part is the confidence that it gives people, but not just inside the gym, beyond the gym too. When I left school, I made a really conscious decision that I would not become the person that goes to university, becomes, you know, absorbed in just their careers, although I am extremely passionate about my career. You know, just ask Lainey, she would say, yeah, Sam, you're a bit of a workaholic, and truth be told, I am. But I also make time for myself, and I also make time for I never wanted to be that person that just gave up on their physical selves. Like, how many people do you know, and maybe, you know, you listening to this right now, that has just completely forgotten about prioritizing themselves? Marty, come on. And you know, people, they start off in school playing sports and, you know, using their bodies, and then they just go away, and before they know it, you know, 10 years has passed and they haven't tested themselves physically. And, you know, no wonder why you're feeling unfulfilled and dissatisfied with yourself, because you literally haven't used your body in a decade, you know. But this is common, this happens, and people, they get tied into this whole thing of making more money, you know, getting the title at work and furthering their careers. And of course this is all very important. There's a bike coming, hang on a sec. And so this business, and a big part of this business was to remind people that, no, hang on a second, you need to prioritize yourself. That is, if you want to live a fulfilled and happy life. I've met too many people who are in their 60s, in their 70s, that are very, very wealthy. You know, their careers, everything to them, and not even their personal or physical life even came into it when they were younger. And they have personally told me how they now live in regret because it's too little too late. And their health, which is quite literally the most important thing in your life, because if you don't have that, you're not going to be here, right? And it's too late for them, and it is such a hard thing to witness. So guys, this today is to say, have that self-awareness to realise that, okay, you might not care about this now, but trust me when I say this, at one point in your life, you're going to be forced to care about it. It's okay to genuinely care about something outside of your family and outside of your career. And I really hope that hits home today. And Pursuit Performance, we're about obviously getting people stronger, developing people's technique, and growing people's confidence, which is what I'm speaking about right now, giving you a path and a purpose to becoming your best self. And I don't know of anything, and that has to be one of the most important things in life, because without a purpose and without a path, a meaningful path, then of course, you know, you're not going to make the most of your time on this planet. Marty's still in first gear, and I've got this one out in front of me, always looking nervous Nelly. Right, I'm gonna pop off. It's the end of the day, rocking my Scarface PJs, one of the best films ever. Haters gonna hate. Anyway, I have decided to share with you one of my favourite recipes, and this is my meatball marinara recipe, and it's very, very simple, homemade meatballs. It doesn't have to be complicated. So I've prepped some food in the back, and you need some basic ingredients, so I'm going to share this with you. You can see on this chopping board I have some breadcrumbs, some diced onion, some grated cheddar cheese. The breadcrumbs I've had to chop. It was a bit desperate really, because we only have bagels here, so I've had to dice that up myself. But it'll do the job for today. Then we have some lean beef mince, but of course you don't have to go with lean beef mince. You can also go with a combination of beef and pork. I think works pretty well. We've got some eggs, and we've got a little bit of flour. So the first thing that we need to do is get a bowl and put that all in one bowl, mix it all together, and then we are going to start to form some balls. You need two things. We need a mixing bowl and you need a plate. And this is where we're going to put the meatballs on. I'm just going to move the camera so you can see it's all happening. First things first, we're going to empty our beef mince. This is the first thing that's going to go in. Doesn't matter, you can just chuck it all in together. So the beef mince is in. Then you're literally just going to take this entire chopping board and empty the contents in there. And I'm going in with one onion, probably about 80 grams of breadcrumbs, and about 60 grams of cheese. So that's all in. Next up, we're going to go in with one egg. we're just going to go in with a tiny bit of flour. I know this isn't like, I don't think this is usually done to my knowledge, but I just put a little bit in. It just helps keep those meatballs together. You know, maybe 1 teaspoon, if that. We are going to season. So we're going to get some salt and pepper, season generously. It'll come out. And it's so simple, right? Like, people hear homemade meatballs and start thinking it's like this big complex recipe. It's really not. It's very, very simple. Now, if I can make this pretty well, I'm sure you can. So that is our bowl. I don't know if you can see that there. And now all I'm going to do is go in with my hands, and we're going to start to put the meatballs into, I quite like to aim for about 12 to 16 meatballs, depending on how big you want them. The key when you're doing this is not to roll it too much, because that will make the meatball really tight and compact and really firm. And ideally, personally anyway, I quite like the type of meatball when it's barely held together. You know, obviously you still got the structure of the meatball, but it's kind of falling apart as you're eating it. And so really what you want to make sure of doing is, when you're doing the meatballs, that you're not really rolling it too much. So I'm going to go in now with my hands, and yeah, I'll show you all of the meatballs that we got here. So I have just mixed all of that up. There you can see it. And that's all combined now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little chunk of that big bit of meat there, and something that I'm doing, I'm rolling the meatball in between my palms, right? I'm not going to overdo it. Of course, you don't want it falling apart, so you're just going to take a little bit of meat. That's probably about enough, okay? And literally just start rolling it together. Again, it's not gonna, you're not gonna go crazy with the thing. Sometimes I do this. You don't want to over roll it, okay? And you're just gonna make it. See a good blue in, just like that, okay? And that's one done. Put it on your plate and continue. Okay, so now I have rolled all of those out. You can see these here. I actually ended up with 10 meatballs because, yeah, I fancied them a bit bigger. I'm a big boy. So we're gonna now go in and start cooking these. What's the time? Yeah, I may get some water in. So we're gonna fill up a saucepan. Water, bring that now to the boil, and then I might put you over here. Perfect. There we go. So I've just got a big nice white saucepan. We're going to go in with some olive oil. Can you see that? A bit out of sight there, isn't it? So we're just going to go in with some olive oil. And again, we're just going to put that on a nice high heat. So whilst that's getting nice and hot, again, you want that saucepan really hot by the time these meatballs go in. The meatballs are all done over there. So there's just 3 things that you need for the sauce, okay? The first thing we're going to do is passata. Here I have 500 grams of passata. Second thing that we're going to go in with is 2 chicken stock cubes, okay? We're going to have 2 of them. And I hate that I'm doing this. Now, this is criminal, okay? I deserve a smack in the face for this, okay? But I do not have fresh basil with me. Usually I would chop fresh basil, put that in the sauce, game changer, okay? And obviously you're gonna season with salt and pepper. I can't believe I'm showing you this. I'm going in with this rubbish dried basil, but it is important for this sauce, and it really does bring things together. So I would much prefer to have basil in there than not to have basil in the sauce. So unfortunately, Schwartz, I'm going with you today. This pan is getting nice and hot, so I'm going to put the camera down so you can see everything that I'm doing. Okay, so you can see this pan getting nice and hot. We want it really hot. I'm going to do an interesting thing. I am going to go around this pan like a clock, starting at 12, then going to 1, then going to 2, then going to 3. It's a bit more efficient in terms of space. So you're going to work around the clock. Just like that. And just there we go. So we might then want to turn down the heat a little bit. So you want to bring the heat up very high, and then once the meatballs are in there, to prevent them from sticking or breaking up, you're just going to then turn the heat down a touch. I'm going to keep down it actually, because it's quite a big pan, so I might just for this one have to keep it up a little bit higher. And you notice I'm constantly shaking like this because I don't want those meatballs to stick. And then you're just going to go in with your spoon and make sure that the entire meatball is starting to brown. Okay? Just flip them round. Just like that, so they're getting then evenly cooked too. Now these ones I'm going to push a little bit into the centre because they're not getting a lot of that heat. This pan actually is pretty big. I want them to cook. And use that pan as well. Tilt that oil into those meatballs. They really get cooked nice and evenly. Use your pan. We're just gonna, oh, I'm zoomed in there. So we're just gonna cook those now as long as we need to. I'm constantly turning them, constantly checking them, and yeah, usually it's gonna be about, I don't know, anyway, depending on how big you've made them, so anywhere from say 6 to 10 minutes or so. So I'll show you once these are cooked. A lot of people, when they do meatballs, will say that you should do them in the oven and then do the sauce separately. I personally like to cook them in the pan because I feel like you get that extra flavour when you add the sauce into the pan from all of the meat and, you know, all the other stuff as well. So I personally prefer to do my meatballs in the pan for that reason. You can do your meatballs, if you like, of course, in the oven, but I personally prefer doing them like this, because you're picking up all of that juice from the meat, all of that flavour, you know, the onions, everything else, and yeah, it gives something else to the sauce, in my opinion. Again, you've got to be careful, you don't want to overdo it and burn them. So I think soon it might be time to go in with our sauce, because of course, you know, they're going to cook in the sauce, right? So now we're going to take the passata, we're going to pour all of that into the pan. We're going to go in with our chicken stock. That in. Then we're going to go in with the basil. Then we're going to season. Now all we're going to do is just mix that in, and we're just going to allow that to bubble and get nice and thick. Use that sauce to cover the meatballs so they really get cooked into that sauce. And also make sure that that chicken stock is melting nicely as well into the sauce. It's all about patience. Now, I'm going to leave that bubble away, let time do his thing, and then I'm going to return to this, and yeah, just every now check on it, you know, give her a little bit of a stir, give her a little bit of love. That's what good food needs, love. It's the key ingredient. And then we're going to get to work on the pasta about 12 minutes before. Okay, pasta usually about 12 minutes to get done. So what we're going to do with this, we're going to allow that to come to the boil. Then we're going to stir the pasta in. Actually just going to help the rest of the spaghetti that is uncovered down and leave it like that for 12 minutes. Spaghetti is drained, so now we're going to serve this up.
Fuck's sake. I'm a fucking cameraman now.
Then we're in with the meatballs, the best part. Meatballs first, then sauce second. Most watering. How many do you want?
Half.
Alright then. That's quite a big boy actually. I'll leave that for me.
Hurry up, it'll take ages to serve.
Leave me alone.
I'm hungry.
Mastery. That's a big one.
Oh my god. I just put the thing, it's melted a bit.
What? What have you done? What have you done?
Melted a bit. I lent it on.
Oh God, you had one job.
Oh my god, it's melted off a bit on the side. Only
That's
that.
like-
Only that.
Oh, it's alright then.
Only
As long
that.
as it stands up. Then we go on with the sauce.
The pan's in the way.
Eh?
Pan's in the way.
How about now? Oh,
Yeah.
it's hard. Oh,
It's better.
yeah? Oh. That spaghetti and meatballs. Get in on that. Get in on it.
I am.
They're good. So me and my dad are about to head off to this place. It's really, really nice. It's in Barry. We go there all the time. We take the dogs with us. And it's just, I suppose, our place to just switch off, catch up. You know, there's a really nice, there's a few nice places for food there actually. So I think we're going to go to this Mexican place that we go to. Shout out to Bab House. Really, really good. I always get the burrito. My mouth's watering already. So I'll show you guys that. And yeah, take the dogs out on the beach. I hope you're having a nice Saturday.
Huh?
I love these little toasties.